We are live. What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture. And it is Friday, and that means it is Friday Night Live. Welcome, everyone. I see Dan's already hanging out. I hope you're doing well today, Dan. It's been a week, guys. It has been a week. I was going to do my 5,000 subscriber contest announcement today. That's not happening. I'm pushing it back to next Friday. We will be picking a winner next Friday. So those of you that enter, just have a little more patience. It will happen. And we're here today to discuss CGC. So many of you know I did a video on this that I released yesterday discussing the price changes with CGC, Prince Zodiac. We're going to dive deeper into it today. I'm going to go over some of your guys' comments. And again, I'm going to hear you guys out. I want to speak my opinion on the matter, and I'm really hoping that those, because from what I've already spoke on the matter, I've had a lot of people that take my words and aren't even listening to what I'm saying, and that happens a lot, especially within this hobby and when we communicate. Shadow Rat, what's going on? Linkovich, Tricky, what is going on? So of course, before we get all into that, we're going to go over some channel updates, some big shout outs to everyone that's here in the chat already. And yeah, so let's give it a couple minutes. I got a setup over here that I'm going to be looking at to monitor the chat while I'm bringing up a lot of sources on screen. So like I said, we're going to just dive deep into this topic. So for those that are just joining and aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Click that subscribe button. You can also join and become a member of the channel for only $1.99 a month. I'm pointing to that join button that is below as well. You also can support the channel by becoming a patron member for only $3.99 a month. So a big shout out for all my patron members and channel members that are in the chat right now. My other half, Comic Book Cannon, is in the house. And as always, we have our live show at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got some breaking news. Some breaking news to dissect and discuss on the Cannon tonight. Also, special guests. It's going to be a good one. So I hope to see all of you guys there. Repping A1 Comics today, of course. A big shout out to A1. They had their 1 year anniversary live sale on IG last week. No live sales for them this week. They're taking a well-deserved break. But if you're not following A1 Comics, their information is below as well. Nerds Being Geeks, what's up? Nerds Being Geeks left a great comment on that CGC video that we're going to be reading today for sure. I just got a very fun Instagram message that I really hope I'm going to tell him. Oh, here, watch this. We are live now, so if you hop on over when we get into the discussion, I will gladly answer your question. All right, I got a question right before we went live. Has to do with CGC. So I'm just letting them know. Come on over and we'll discuss it. We will discuss it. So, all right, let's talk about channel updates. One, like I just said when we first went live, I was going to do my 5,000 subscriber announcement today and pick a winner. That is postponed until next week. So please, guys, have a little patience. It's going to give me time to pick out a few more books too to add to the prize basket. And remember, you get a $30 gift card from A1 Comics. You get that beautiful EGS slab. That was the Spider-Man 316 variant, and you're going to get 6 months free to the unlimited membership to Covrprice.com. You're going to get that beautiful, I believe, what was it, a Silvestri Storefolio from BCW filled with books, of course. So lots of awesome prizes. Phil, what is going on? So that's going to happen next week. And I most likely will be having a special guest on next week as well. I'm going to hold off to make an announcement. We were talking about making that happen, but I want to just make sure I'm committed with him to have him on. We are going to have an awesome guest, hopefully, and we're going to dive into more of this hot discussion of the current market and what's been going on in the current market of things, right? So next Friday is going to be awesome. All right, so Patreon members and channel members. Big shout out to each and every one of you. I said those links are below if you guys want to check that out and how you can support the channel by either being a patron or a YouTube member for only $1.99 a month. So I just added a perk for my Patreon members, and I'm going to add it to my YouTube channel members as well. And it's a monthly theme. It's a monthly theme where you could submit pictures to me via Instagram, and I will show them off either in a random video for that month or in a live stream. So I'm going to show off a few submissions today from my Patreon members. The theme is green covers for the month of April. And the way that you submit, you have to be a patron member for one. So if you submit, if you use the hashtag and you're not a patron member or channel member, you won't get your submission shown off in a video or a live stream. But I am opening this up to my channel members as well. That hashtag is Journo's Monthly Covers. So again, you can also submit it on Twitter if you want to use the hashtag on Twitter, but I highly recommend using Instagram. Journo's Monthly Covers. We're going to pick a theme for every month. And right now, like I said, it is green covers. So I got some folks that submitted some beautiful covers. We're going to show those off right here before we get into the big topic of discussion for today, guys. So let's bring that up on screen. And let's see what we got. So we got our first submission. Shadow Rat, I think he's in the chat right now hanging out. So a big shout out to Shadow Rat, patron of the channel. We got it looks like a Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps number 40. Man, that's hard. In my old age, that's hard to read there. I think that's number 40. And is that Batman 97? But yeah, those are that green. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Hal Jordan cover. I love green, by the way. Green, if you guys don't know, green is my favorite color. Tough Book, what's going on? Get lost in comics. What is going on? Comic noob. Awesome, awesome. So Shadow Rat, yeah, am I getting these numbers right? Because it's hard to see. There's Spider-Man number, what was that? 61, right? With the new suit, beautiful green background. And then a Meet the Scrolls. I can't see what issue that is. I don't know if that's is that a variant? But really nice looking white cover with some panels there with some green in the background. So Shadow Rat, thank you so much for those submissions. Moonlit, what is going on? Thank you for hanging out today. All right, next up, who do we have? Philly Born. Philly Born, look at this. Who is this artist? I don't think Philly Born's in the chat, at least of yet, but this is a beautiful, look at this Far Sector cover. Look at that. Wow. That is just, I'm just going to keep, I'm going to let this linger for a moment. Peter, what's going on, Peter? Look at that. That's just absolutely beautiful. Man. All right. Thank you so much, Philly Born. If you do show up in the chat, let me know who that artist is. All right. We got one more submission. I just saw Peter pop up and we got a submission from Peter. Look at this beautiful Wolverine #1 variant cover. This is none other than Alex Ross, one of my favorite modern artists. Wow. He just never disappoints, man. I'm telling you, like, I've not seen one bad cover from Alex Ross whatsoever, ever in my life, ever. Have you guys? Look at that, man. Look at the water, the green and it going into the water, the reflection in the water. Just beautiful. Peter, man, thank you so much. Again, like I said, Alex Ross is one of my favorite modern artists. I absolutely love. I collect runs just because he does the cover on them. So, Peter, thank you so much for submitting an Alex Ross cover. Super, super awesome submission. So, guys, if you want to submit some covers for Journo's Monthly Covers, you have to be a YouTube channel member. Hit that join button below. It's only $1.99 a month, and you help support the channel for just those couple of dollars a month, or you could become a Patreon member of the channel. My Patreon link is below too. That's only $3.99 a month, the price of one new comic book. And you can submit your entries with the hashtag Journo's Monthly covers. So we only have about a week more of April. So next month will be another theme. And I know Larissa, patron of the channel, she submitted one. I think we showed off Tony T's. So there's a couple of you that I have not shown off yet, but don't worry, you will get your submissions shown either maybe on next week's live stream or in a video within the next coming weeks. So awesome. Let's pull that away. Let's get back to the chat here. Louis, what's going on, Louis? All right, Myth Lab, what's going on, Vinny? Alex Ross rules, absolutely. Ricky Spanish, Louis Logic. All right, we got Louis the 13th and Louis Logics in the house. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's see. Anything else? By the way, if you guys have not watched that final episode, no spoilers. If you have not watched that final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, man, I hope you do by the end of the evening, because it was absolutely awesome. Oh, man, I can't wait for the next thing. Okay, anyways, that's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say. Shall we start getting into the discussion of the evening? And that is, of course, all things CGC. I got to get some water. All right, guys. You know that I did a video yesterday discussing my take on CGC raising their prices. So I really want to expand on everything that I talked about. I got a lot of good feedback in the comments. I wanted to actually pull up CGC's Facebook and go to their posts where they made the announcement, and I wanted to read the comments. But I don't think I'm going to do that, because I think I want to focus more on your guys' comments on my video and, you know, really get into the bulk of my argument and my take on this, all right? But I just want you all to know, and if you haven't seen that post, go check it out. Go find CGC Comics on Facebook, find their post where they made the announcement, and read the comments. There was hundreds of comments, and I went reading through them all. And literally out of 100, I could probably count on both hands, maybe even one hand, but definitely both hands, how many were positive. The rest were negative. All right, now I'm not sitting here saying we should all be completely negative about this. I'm going to have a balanced perspective on this, but I just want you guys to take that in. I want you to understand public perception right now and how it looks for CGC. When their own followers on Facebook, 99% of them are upset at this move for one reason or another, right? So this is what we're going to do, okay? Before I go into my video, we're going to pull up CGC's website and we're going to look at what the changes are, all right? Because I think that's the number one thing to understanding, or that's the number one thing that we need to do before we even get into a discussion about this. You can't have an opinion on something if you're not educated to the facts of the matter at hand, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to not listen to hearsay or what somebody posted on Facebook or what somebody else is saying in a chat or on a YouTube channel. We're going to go right into the source, and we are going to bring up CGC's website and look at what these changes are. All right, so give me a minute. We're going to bring this up, and here it is. So straight from CGC.com. CGC announces updates to membership tiers, services, and fees. All right. This is the same thing that they posted in their Facebook group, verbatim. This is what they wrote, and I'm going to read it with you guys. So, quote, as demand for CGC's expert and impartial service. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm trying to do this, non-bias here. As demand for CGC's expert and impartial services continues to grow rapidly, CGC is advancing its efforts to increase capacity while maintaining the highest standards of quality. Okay, I get that. Absolutely. I think that's long overdue, so I think that's good. So far, 2021 has been a particularly exciting year for Certified Grading Company comic books, trading cards, and other collectibles certified by CGC and setting record prices, and demand for our expert and impartial services is growing rapidly. I want you to listen to this key takeaway right here. Demand for our expert and impartial. Now, take expert and impartial out of there. That's their little slogan. That's how they're branding themselves. But this is a fact. Demand for our services is growing rapidly. This is a fact. There is high demand because there's high demand in the market right now for comic books. There's high demand for comic books that are slabbed. And then there's that high demand that's booming right now for 9.8 specifically. So what are people doing? Rushing their books off to 9.8 land. Okay, off to 9.8 land. Off to CGC hoping to get those 9.8s, right? But let me continue here. In response, CGC has actively sought and implemented measures to increase capacity while maintaining the highest standards of quality. Now, this is one thing that's in question, and we're going to come back to this. While maintaining the highest standards of quality, keep that in your mental notes. We're going to come back to that. As part of CCG, we have initiated a massive hiring push that has resulted in over 70 new employees being added in the last 3 months. That means they're already been added, okay? This isn't something that's a goal. This is something that they've already done. Purchase a multi-million-dollar new building, which has already been done, and I do believe it is operational. To what extent, I don't know. And then continuing on, brought in efficiency consultants and worked thousands of hours of overtime. All right, we have increased incentives to motivate and reward our employees and to attract new talent. That's good. Not only do they have to be mindful of the consumer, but they have to be mindful of their employees. Business culture correlates to consumers and in-house, right? Absolutely. Continuing, in this fast-growing and highly competitive industry, CGC is paying the most competitive salaries to attract the best talent. We're also investing in the latest technology and equipment that help ensure the accuracy and efficiency of the grading process. Sounds good, right? Continuing on, to advance those and other efforts, CGC is updating its membership tiers, services, and fees effective April 28th, 2021. Don Davis, what is going on? Thank you for joining today. All right. The new services and fees apply to all CGC online submission forms completed as of April 28, 2021. Submission forms completed by April 28, 2021 must be delivered to CGC's facility by May 28, 2021 to qualify for the old pricing. CGC memberships purchased prior to April 28, 2021 will continue to have the current membership benefits until their renewal/expiration date. All right, so that is from the mouth of CGC. We're going to look at what this means. All right, this is the membership updates. We're going to come back to that. We're going to look at the numbers first, all right? Now, it's a little confusing when you have to measure these numbers next to what they used to be, right? So this isn't all bad when you think of numbers specifically. Now, I'm not talking about if you agree with the decision or not. I'm talking about numbers. From just a numbers angle, this is not all bad. It could actually benefit some people. Let me tell you why. One, the modern tier, okay, is $400 and under. Okay, so this kind of bridges the modern and the value together, because remember, the value tier only covered $200 and under in value of modern books. So if you had a modern book that was worth $400, $500, it would have automatically been placed in another tier, and it would have been automatically placed on another invoice. And you know what they would have done? Not only would they have charged you the $27 that it was next to the $18, they would have charged you a separate invoice, meaning you would have been charged separate shipping fees. So now you can bundle up more high value modern books under one tier and save on shipping. Those books that used to be worth $200 to $400, you're saving $5 on because it's $22 now instead of $27. But the ones that were worth under $200 and under, you're paying $4 more. So it kind of evens out. That's not that bad, right? Now, the economy tier did drop from $37 to $33, if I remember correctly. All right. Standard went up $10. That's a huge increase when you think about it, because if you're just submitting 10 books, that's an extra $100 right there. So that's kind of deep, you know, but that's, you know, that's high value books. And I do believe did Express go up from 105 to 120? If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on that. But those are for the big money books. You know, I'm not sending in those types of books, so that doesn't really concern me. Nerds being geeks, what's going on? For sure. Let's see, Prince Zodiac. Got some good comments coming in. Steve Bradley, what is going on? So, okay, look. So again, I'm not gonna throw my hands up and complain and just be mad and say this is horrible. But I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, it was long overdue. You know, you're just gonna complain that they're raising their prices. I'm not gonna be any of those things. I'm gonna be straight down the middle and say, okay, look, looking at the numbers, it's not so bad. Do I agree with all of it? Maybe not. But can I understand some of it? Sure, just from a numbers angle, right? They changed Fast Track. They got rid of the pre-screen for CCS for pressing, and yeah, Fast Track went up a lot. Man, shoot, Fast Track was what, $9 $9 for the modern tier. Wow, so that's up to 15. So that's again, that's a decent increase. So say you're just sending in what used to be value books, right? Now you're paying $4 extra for the grading services per book, and you're paying $6 extra if you want to fast track it. So that's $10 a book. So when you go to a company that literally you can have your books waiting for 6 to 9 months, and you want to fast track, and even fast track is going to probably take at least a couple months. That's a lot more money for you to get your hands on your books. All right. Now, I've always been the one that says, well, you know what? You know, don't be impatient when it comes to getting your books back. If you want to be impatient, then you got to foot the bill, right? So I can look at that from two angles as well. So there's the numbers in terms of the tiers, right? Now, I'm going to be quite honest before I go dive into my deep opinion on this matter here. I'm going to say I'm not very happy. This is where I'm not very happy. I am not very happy with what they did to the membership. All right. So the premium membership, the $149 membership, now you don't even get the discount. Remember, wasn't it? And again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you get $21 off? I do believe it was $129, and you got $150 credit. If I'm wrong, I want someone to drop it in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's right. $129 for $150 credit. Now it's $149 and you get $150 credit. That's kind of silly. You get $1 credit. You get $1 in difference. Like, why not just make it $149 and $149 credit, or $150 and $150? That to me just looks bad on paper. And as a consumer, as a customer, I kind of like, what are you doing? Giving me $1? Like, you trying to put $1 in my pocket? That kind of rubs me the wrong way. So not only are you not getting that $20, $21 discount, you know, off of your first however many submissions up to $150, you aren't even getting that 10% off anymore to get that $18 price point. That is a bad look, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, actually, let me hold out before I tell you why. So the premium still gets you basically the same stuff, but you don't get the discount off of the $150 credit or the 10% off of the books. The elite membership at $299 does give you 10%, let's see, 10% off of the grading, right? But it only gives you a $150 credit still. So now you're basically having to pay $150 for a membership just to get 10% off of your books. So the only way that that elite membership would work is if you are submitting enough books to get that enough discount with that 10% discount that equals $150 back in your pocket off of the tier price. I'm not doing that because I don't send that many books in. So elite would be pointless for me because I am not spending that much money on books at all. You know, I was buying the premium membership and I was maybe sending in a few extra books outside of that $150 credit where I may have been coming out of pocket after shipping no more than an extra $100. That was me. And that's how I'll probably stay for the rest of my life because I'd rather buy more books and spend that much money on slabbing books. I'm not big on slabbing. Or unless I got rich and wealthy and I had more, you know, disposable income to spare, right? Swagglehaus, what's going on? So, I'm going to put this into perspective a little bit, and then we're going to look at comments, guys, that you guys left on my video. Let me take a quick breath of air, get some water down. Louis bought his first CGC last year. It was placed crooked in the case. Oh, man. Oh, that's tough. Don Davis. If you renewed, it was $129. Right. Thank you. Thank you for confirming that. Yep. Myth Lab. Maybe you weren't doing the auto renewal. Because you get that, you were getting that $21 off with the renewed membership every year, and you would get that $150 credit. So, okay, so let me just talk about the memberships right now before I read your guys' comments and go into this. Actually, I'm going to talk about the whole thing. And I talked about this in my video. I'm going to pull this out for a minute. And I'm just going to kind of reiterate some of the things that I talked about in my video, guys. I'm not mad at CGC raising their prices at face value. All right. But I don't think it was the right thing to do right now. I think, ironically, I think that if CGC raised their prices 2 years ago, it would have been better timing than right now. But here's my thing. And this is what people weren't understanding. It's not just that black and white. I'm saying this as a businessman coming from a business perspective. CGC, I feel, and again, look, I said this in my video. I don't look at their financial statements. I don't know their revenue. I'm not looking at their books. I've never been in the warehouse. I don't know anybody there. I can only tell you what I do know and what I can hypothetically assume from the facts that I gathered and the research that I gathered, and I could put together a sound argument to say what I'm going to say. I do believe that CGC is overconfident and cocky in the way that they handle business. Now, they can argue that they have the right to be that way. They started this. They started this. Got to give them credit for that. But here's the thing. No company is too large to fail. And I'm not sitting here saying that CGC is going to fail anytime soon. But if you look through history and you've studied some of the great businesses and the great CEOs and companies like IBM, Apple, you will understand that if even the companies that are on top don't evolve with the times, competition can slowly sneak in. And your dominance in an industry can be pulled from under your feet. And it's something that will happen over a long period of time, but you might never see it coming because you're so overconfident. I'm not even saying the CGC is even there at that point yet, but I'm trying to make a point here. CGC and their demand is booming. And just like any product or service on a market, there's market equilibrium. That's when the price adjusts to a fair market value that consumers are willing to pay for a service or a product. And because demand is increasing, you can argue that CGC can raise prices all they want. It's a valid statement. But here's what's happening at the same time. Even though demand for CGC is increasing, do you know what's increasing as well? Negative public perception. Now, negative public perception is probably a blip on the screen next to the increase in demand for their product. Michael Fulton, it's not just supply and demand according to CGC, and I'm going to get to that. But back to what I was saying. Even though demand is growing, negative public perception is growing as well, and it might be growing at a slower pace, and it might be this big next to demand being this big, but it's there and it's growing. And I said that this was bad timing for CGC because of how it looks. First off, and this is to Michael Fulton's comment, CGC came out on their Facebook and said the reason why we're increasing prices is because we're expanding, because business is booming. It's not supply and demand. They're saying in order to grow our facilities, we're going to put the cost back on you. That was the wrong way to word it. I would have rather them not left an excuse at all. I will say this, what I read from their website was different than what they posted on Facebook, actually. It was much better worded. It was much better worded for me to be able to read it and understand that they are adding value. When I say value, it's not monetary value. It's what I value in their product or their service. When I was reading that, I felt a little more confident that here's CGC adding more value into their product and service. So therefore, I'm willing to go a little extra and put a little more money into the cost. All right. So, one, I don't think CGC's initial statement was the best statement at all. And I think it's the worst timing, because this is what I think should have happened. CGC's demand has been booming pre-COVID. All right. When I submitted books in 2019, and I submitted like 10 or 11 books, modern books. I submitted them in the beginning of March, and I didn't get them back until the end of August. I waited over 6 months for my books. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating facts. And shortly after that, I know people, I didn't submit any more books, but there were people that were waiting even longer. And this was before COVID. Demand for CGC has been increasing. That's why people say, oh, price increases are long overdue. Maybe so. But guess what? You should have increased them then. You would have had the same people complaining, though. You would have had the same people complaining. The problem with doing it now is because over the last year and a half, their quality control has gotten worse. And yeah, probably because demand has increased. They can't handle it. I've said this before on my channel. I talked to 2 different people over the last 2 different years at CGC that said, we are overworked and understaffed. Straight up, 2 different people. We are overworked and understaffed. That's the most transparency I've gotten from CGC ever, coming from their customer service reps telling me that. Overworked and understaffed. Hey, they weren't lying. Another thing is so that's their turnaround, right? Turnaround, quality control, more and more cases having broken plastic, more and more books upside down, backwards, the wrong book, the wrong label, the wrong custom label. You got Wolverine on a DC book, or Wolverine label on a DC book, or you know, stuff like that. Hairs, graders, hairs in the slabs, and CGC ripping the covers off of 9.0 Golden Age comic books and not even giving them their money back, but comping them store credit. Their quality control has been suffering, and that has been creating more and more negative public perception. All right. And the way that they've dealt with it, I don't think has been appropriate. They feel that they are too big for failure, in my humble opinion. So while this is going on, you got CGC gaining market share. And I know because I follow this stuff. CGC gets new cases and labels, looking clean. CGC offers free grader notes. CBCS. My apologies. CBCS, solid turnaround times. Now, of course, they're not doing the same amount of business as CGC, but it's an appeal. It's an appeal for consumers and customers to take their business from CGC to go to CBCS because they want their books back sooner. They got a case and a label that is extremely competitive with CGC's right now. A lot of people say that their grading is more consistent. They're not without flaws, though. They are not without flaws. And I always say this about every grading company, especially, or at least the big three. CBCS, PGX, I'll still send my books over to CGC a million times before I send it to PGX, at least right now. Doesn't mean the PGX can't change in the future, right? So my point is this. CGC, in my humble opinion, should, because their profit, and I'm going to guarantee you one thing here. Their profit margins are increasing. Their profit margins are increasing. If I was CGC, look, I would have made sure that they already spent the money. They already spent the money to hire the new employees. Okay? Because they said that. They've hired the new employees and they're putting them to work already. They've already bought the building. They already put the money out there. I would have allowed the new system to start working so they can catch up on orders, start getting their quality control under wraps, and start flowing a little bit more like a well-greased machine before raising prices. That's what it boils down to for me. I'm not even mad that they did it. But the timing, and I'm not even mad. I'm not mad. Honestly, guys, I'm not mad about anything. But I'm looking at this as a business perspective. I guarantee you, and here's the problem. Like I said, guys, don't take it from me. Go to their page on Facebook and look at their followers and find how many people you can count that are leaving positive comments. And I know that, look, the majority of people that probably complain about CGC over the years are going to go right back and keep sending their books to CGC. But be careful. Don't get too cocky. Don't get overconfident. I'm not talking about 1 year from now or even 3 years from now, maybe even not 5 years from now, but a decade down the line. This is what's going to happen. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be an immediate hurt on CGC because there are people that are going to take their money elsewhere. That's an immediate hurt. Will it damage their revenue overall? No. Is it going to be an impact that is going to make a dent on their books to where CGC is going to be like, oh no, we made the wrong decision? No. It's going to take money out of their pockets though, initially, because I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people that are taking their business immediately to CBCS. A lot of people are going to complain and keep sending their books to CGC though and giving them their money. But this is where the problem lies. Because they did this right now, under this timing, if they don't get their turnaround times under control over the next couple of months, and if they don't start getting their quality control under wraps over the next couple of months, this is going to be a sour taste left in a lot of people's mouths. Let me repeat that. If they don't allow the things that they said in that statement that I read, they've hired, what do they say? They hired quality control staff members. I don't know if that's exactly the words that they use, but basically folks to oversee quality better. You know, they want to get the in-house production of their services to run more smoothly and more appropriately for to continue to, like they said, to be the elite and the top quality out there on the market. If they can deliver doing that, then the people that are complaining right now about these price changes are going to forget about these price changes. If they can deliver on their promise and they can get turnaround times back up to something feasible, and if they can stop ripping covers off of 9.0 Golden Age books, and if they can stop putting books upside down in their cases. I mean, look, I don't care. And I saw somebody comment, oh, that's just the thing. And I'm not trying to mock you. I'm just saying though, they grade millions of books, thousands of books a day. The margin of error is so, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. No book should come out of that assembly process or that grading process. Not one. Because what have they been saying? And they're changing this now. They have 3 graders that look at the book. Now it seems like they're going to have even more people looking at the book. No book should be put in a slab upside down and be, yep, okay, send it back to the customer. No book should say DC and be a Marvel book. No book should say Secret Wars #1 and it's a Tales of the Teen Titans. No book should have a hair in it. No book. Now, I mean, well, I was going to say no book should have pieces of plastics, but who knows? Those can get broken off in the delivery process. I don't know. But these are things that, I'm sorry, should never happen. Never. I don't care what you guys say about, oh, it's only one in a... There is no excuse, man. Come on. Come on. You got how many people looking at a book and, you're passing this big hunk of junk. Look, it's not like you got a microscope and you're trying to, let me look at this ant size of a comic book in a slab to see if there's any errors before we send it out to the customer. Hey, I just graded this and slabbed it up. Looks good. Hey, buddy, can you be the second eyes? Oh, yeah, looks good. Hey, so-and-so, can you be the third eyes? Yeah, looks good. And then you get the book. You get the book back, and the comic book is freaking upside down in the case. No! There's no reason for that. None. It should never happen. And when it does happen, I don't want to hear CGC say, oh, well, send it back to us, and we'll regrade it. No, they'll give you a shipping label. They're not giving you your money back. No, you know what they should do? They should give you your money back. They should give you your money back and give you a return shipping label for free to have you send that book back in to get graded for free. Why? Because it's called customer service, quality control, and business culture. How you want to run your business. For me, it's not about the price point. It's about the business model and the culture of how they're running their business. And I'm sorry, at the end of the day, I'm still waiting for transparency from CGC. I don't care how much they charge. They're already the highest on the market, and now they're higher. I want to know what you're doing to grade my book. And that goes for CGC and PGX as well. I want to know 100% the process, because there's no reason it should be a secret. If you go and you watch a baseball game, as a fan, and they tell you, well, we have a strike zone, but we're not going to tell you what the strike zone is. And they start calling balls and strikes. How are you going to feel about that? Come on, man. There's room for error. There's room for subjectivity. Subjectiveness. But there ain't no reason it needs to be an Area 51 secret for how you're grading these books. PGX can't grade. That's the absolute truth. At least in my humble opinion. So, we got about 15 more minutes or so. I am going to bring up these comments and go over some of the comments, but I hope I really got that off. Look, I am all good with the price increases. I think it was bad timing. I think they probably should have waited maybe until the end of the year. And I think they should have got turnaround times under control, go about handling your errors better when they happen, less errors. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this too. I know that, if I'm running a business and I know one service or one product that I'm selling is my bread and butter, I'm going to want to butter that up, right? And I know that their signature series is their bread and butter, right? But it's almost like they're making a decision right now. So it's like when Ford, they make the Taurus and the Fusion and the Fiesta, right? Say they want to cancel their Fiesta because they want to put more money into their Fusions in their Tauruses. So that you sell, X amount of Fiestas every year, but it's going to be better for us to take that loss, not sell any Fiestas and not produce any Fiestas or assemble any Fiestas, because we want to put more of our resources into our top dogs, our Tauruses that are selling like hotcakes. If CGC is doing that with the signature series and they don't care that your standard people just wanting to send their books in to get a blue label are waiting 9 months for their books because they're streamlining their big bread and butter money makers for the signature series, then they need to make their bed where they lay. And then they need to face the repercussions of that, or the outcome of that, and reap what they sow. So if that means alienating a certain customer who just wants their standard books graded and slabbed with a blue label, they're going to say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm taking my business over to CBCS. Is CGC willing to lose customers that are blue label customers in order to gain yellow label customers? Because again, it seems that they almost don't care. Because why? It goes back to them being what? Overconfident. Because they think that they can do whatever they want. And they're not completely wrong. At this point in time, they're not completely wrong. They can raise the price. People are going to complain. They're going to keep giving them their money and sending their books. They can send you your book backwards and upside down with a hair in it, with the wrong label on it. You're going to complain, but then you're going to keep giving them your money and sending them more books. That's what they think right now. That's what they think. So they can do whatever they want. But I'm telling you, there's a growing minority that is not okay with any of this. And even though these books get a premium on the secondary market next to CBCS or any other grading company, some people just don't care anymore. And the more people that don't care over the years, if CGC doesn't change their business model, it's going to impact in the value. The secondary value of CGC books is going to slowly do this, while the secondary value of CBCS books are going to slowly do that. And I believe anyways, that 10 years from now, it's going to be a more balanced market. I do. And I say this all the time. The grading market is in its infancy. And yes, CGC had a head start. But it's not going to last forever unless CGC continues to evolve. And they haven't. They haven't at a level that I think is appropriate for them to be able to last long term, for that longevity. So again, if CGC gets their turnaround times under wraps, if they change their culture and their business model, CGC is going to be just fine. And they're going to continue to be the top dog in the industry, but they need to make that happen. They have to. Mako, VV Mako says, not happy with it, messed up. Prince, will the market allow CBCS to demand the same values? That's what I just said. If more people are putting money into CBCS books, the market is going to adjust. That's how it works. And more people are putting more money into CBCS books, that value margin is going to shrink slowly but surely. Degenerate DNA. They did it at no charge, but they did not refund his money. Tell me I'm wrong. So go back to dude that had the hair in his book. Yep, they allowed him to send him the book back free of charge. But tell me that they gave him the money back for his initial cost. Devo, just keep him raw for now. Hold and wait until mass grading gets figured out. Yeah, that's that's a fair. And Degenerate, I'm going to be, look, I respect everyone. In Degenerate, that's a challenging statement. I appreciate you bringing that up, but don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. All right. Just be, if you want to challenge me, let's be straightforward. And you're saying that's bad business. No, I'm not saying that is bad business. I'm telling you what it's doing to public perception. And that's just one incident. But yes, best practices. I wouldn't have if I was CGC CEO or an execs, I wouldn't just take issues back and not charge them for redoing the issue, for correcting the issue. I would give them their money back that were the initial costs and still do it for free. That's what I would do, because that's good business. And that gets in the ear of public perception. All right, guys, I'm going to bring up a few comments that I have to read here, okay? So let's do this. Let's bring this up. I wanted to go through more, but I'm going to bring up a couple. Let me see if I can find them. All right, let's see. We got Marvel Dakota saying, I'm really thinking of giving CBCS my money with my next several books I send in. Yep. Okay. So you got a lot of people saying that, and if they'll stick to that, we shall see. So look at this. Look at what Millbolt said. I feel most of the new revenue will go towards funding their cash grabbing signing events. I doubt the turnaround times or grading control is going to get any better. You see, so this is what I'm talking about, public perception. The public perception for a lot of people, and even if it's a minority, it's a growing minority. The public perception is they're going to raise these prices and they're not going to do what they say. Now, I can't speak to that. I can't tell you if they're going to change it or not. I hope they do. I wish nothing but luck for CGC. I'm not anti-CGC. I never was and I never will be. But guess what? If I have an issue with any company, I'll call them out. A lot of people know this. I've learned to do this and be more proactive, just like I called out my issues with Key Collector. Do I hate Key Collector? Absolutely not. Do I have any personal issues with Nick or anyone involved in Key Collector? Absolutely not. I just disagreed with a couple of the things that they did. But then people, get in the comments, oh yeah, you're a Key Collector hater, or yeah, screw Key Collector, conspiracy theories, right? No. A lot of people don't feel that they will make the changes that they're saying that they're going to make. Stephen Bond. Meanwhile, CBCS has been offering deals on grading books. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So, okay. Degenerate. That's right. You did comment on this. Since you're in the chat, I'm gonna go through. I didn't read your reply, but let's see what you said here. I did respond. You said, love you and your channel, man, but I'm here 9 years early to tell you that you're wrong. See, so Degenerate, I think you mistook what I was saying in the video. I wasn't sitting here saying, watch, 9 years from now, CGC is going to tank. No, I was saying, if the variables are this, and this, then And I didn't even say CGC was going to tank if the variables don't change. I said they're not going to look like they look now, and the margin of market shares is going to shrink. And that's if they don't change their business model. I didn't flat out say, oh, because they raise prices in 9 years, they're going to be, no. I said they can even still be on top, but they're not going to have the dominance in terms of the margin that they have today. If they want to keep remaining on top with that margin, they have to evolve and they have to change their business model and their culture. You went on to say, mark my words, there will be another increase within the next year. Do you think it's a coincidence this comes right after PSA shut down and SGC raised their prices to $75 a card? Again, so degenerate, I get you, but I'm not fixating on the prices here. It's not that black and white. And that's what I think when people watch my video, or maybe even hearing me now, you're not hearing it. You're not hearing it. I'm just saying that this is all coming from their backlog as they see what is happening in the sports card market. Again, that's irrelevant. Degenerate, I agree with you, but that's irrelevant. Why they're doing it is irrelevant. It's about public perception. That is relevant. That's all I'm trying to say. That is all I'm trying to say. This few dollars of raising your prices will do nothing to stop their influx of books coming in. And I ultimately overall agree with that. And I stated that, at least for now. It's going to have an impact, but the impact is going to look like this, right? They won't notice it. But if the public perception doesn't change, if their business model doesn't change, that impact is going to grow over the next decade. That is what I'm saying. Regardless of price. Regardless of price. Lord Raiden say the price raise doesn't really bother me. Dropping the 10% middle tier discount, that does. And I hear you on that. I absolutely hear you on that. Out of all this, I think the biggest thing, like I said in the beginning of this live stream, getting rid of that 10% discount. And quite honestly, guys, that's what's going to do it for me. Most likely. I'm 95% sure that I'm going with CBCS unless I start grading books to sell. Unless I start grading books knowing I'm going to sell them. I'm pretty sure for everything that's in my personal collection, I'm going to start going with CBCS and even EGS for some of my personal books. Nerds Being Geeks. Okay, was it Nerds Being Geeks? Yep. I wanted to read this comment, guys, and I do got to wrap up here soon. I forgot to give you some love on your comment, Nerds Being Geeks, if you're still in the chat. All right, I want to read this comment because this is a very well thought out comment. I want to get some water here. Bear with me, guys. Again, thank you all for joining in the chat today. Lively discussion, man. I'm reading your guys' comments as I'm going too. Again, guys, we are just 45 minutes away from the Comic Book Canon live show. I hope to see each and every one of you there. We have an awesome show tonight. Got to get some more water. All right, let me read this comment by Nerds Being Geeks. And keep in mind, Nerds Being Geeks has some great insight. We haven't always agreed, but I love discussions. I love it. Let's go into this. This might sound a little biased because I did just do a CBCS unboxing video. I got to go check that out. But I don't plan to use CGC again for a while. Implementing price increases and not offering nearly as many perks as CBCS is just crazy. Now, again, guys, this is just one person's opinion. So don't go attacking him. It's like, okay, you can disagree, but hear him out. And one thing that I encourage everyone to do, put yourself in other people's shoes. Putting yourself in other people's shoes allows you to understand why people think the way that they do. Doesn't mean you need to agree with them still. It just means you can understand and empathize and get it, right? All right, let me go on. So he goes on to say, CBCS offers the following. 1, free grader's notes. If CGC changed that in this with their price point changes, that would be awesome. But I don't think they did. Free grader's notes. QR code on label to get said free grader's notes at any time. in place, which is perfect for conventions. I agree. New cases that do not, he meant to say do not, that do not use archival paper like CGC, sorry. That paper is said to need to be replaced every 8 to 10 years. No archival paper means no need to replace the case. 4, verification of unwitnessed signatures, perfect for collectors that have had books signed by creators that are long gone and or grading companies didn't exist at the time of signing. Hey, very, very feasible. He goes on to state this, all this with no extra cost. Verified signatures does cost extra. It was already cheaper to go to CBCS before this increase. Even if CBCS follows suit, you are at least getting some perks to go along with it. Very sound perspective. He also goes on to say this, I'm also kind of butthurt because my one book at CGC has been there since November and we can't get any update on it. Just shows received. But all these private signings through CGC are getting 2 to 3 month turnaround times. I get it. They are prioritizing their signings because the person signing, but the people are sending in just to get graded seems to be pushed way back. I was just talking about this. This goes to what I was just talking about. Is CGC willing to, neglect a certain customer base for another, for their bread and butter? Once CBCS starts grading oversized books like The Last Ronin, I don't plan to use CGC at all, and the market may start to follow suit. The community is the one that has made CGC the higher selling book on the secondary market. Yep. But you just hear so much complaining about them too. Until people start using their wallet and putting their money towards other companies, CGC has no reason to change. Period. Nerds Being Geeks, thank you so much for that comment. And that's absolutely true. You keep giving them their money, they're going to keep doing whatever the hell they want to do. So, whew. Again, don't mistake what I'm saying here. I think, to be quite honest, I think I've been the most well-balanced in terms of individuals discussing this matter. You either got people that are like, oh, you guys are just a bunch of butthurt complainers. This is long overdue. I love CGC. That are just backing CGC up all the way without question. And, and then you got people that are just extremely angry with valid opinions. I'm sitting here with a very balanced perspective, and I'm taking a devil's advocate approach to this. I'm not biased in this at all, one way or the other. I'm not. I'm looking at this from a business standpoint and looking at public perception. I'm involved. Look, I put my ears to the streets, so to say. I do my research. I educate myself every day. This is what I do. This is a full-time job for me. I'm studying the market. I'm studying the collectors. I'm in Facebook groups for a reason. I monitor stuff. I watch conversations. I listen. I dive into data and analytics, in the numbers, in sales. I watch these businesses. And I'm telling you right now, the price change alone is not going to hurt CGC in a way that's going to truly hurt them. You are going to see some people leave. But I guarantee you, it's not specifically for the price change as well right now. It's because they've already been dealing with the late turnaround, the delayed turnaround times and all the other issues and the quality control issues. And then this happens and they're just like, this is the icing on the cake. And I know there's people out there that are going to be like, well, them doing this right now is, how do you expect them to improve? How do you expect them to improve? Because they already have the resources to improve. That's why they do. And like I said, I don't know their books, but I could tell you with cold hard fact that they do. I would love to sit down with an executive from CGC and discuss this, but they do. I want to read one more comment before I go today. One more. We are 40 minutes away from Comic Book Canon. Our YouTube is in the link below. Make sure you guys are over there, man. make sure you come stop by. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched the Comic Book Canon show yet, you're missing out. And maybe I'm biased there, but hey. I'm going to read this comment from Mr. Tony Trombetta, the president of EGS. Now, before I read it, guys, I know there may be some of you that are going to sit and say, oh, well, he is biased. He is the owner of a grading company. He is going to drag CGC under the mud. And I'm going to be honest with you guys of what I think of Tony's comment. So before you guys get in my comments of my chat, dragging Tony under the rug, assuming that he's just here to knock a notch into CGC, let me read it. Let me respond. And then I want to let you guys respond. And then we're going to wrap up the stream, all right? Again, if you guys are here for the first time, if you aren't subscribed, please take some time to do so. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. I always say this, and I mean it with the bottom of my heart. This is my livelihood. It's my job. I do this 7 days a week to provide content for you all. I put my all into this. We just recently hit 6,000 subscribers a couple days ago. We're on the road to 10,000. I am not slowing down anytime soon. I will be announcing my 5,000 subscriber giveaway winner next week, and I can't wait to do a 10,000 subscriber contest because it's going to be massive. So if you guys aren't subscribed, I would truly appreciate it if you did. Stick around, watch the videos, watch the live streams, commented, hung out, and are a part of this community. So let me get a little water. I'm going to read Tony's comment here. I'm reading your guys' comments. I appreciate you all. I do. I'm that's why I'm doing this. I'm looking over here and I'm reading your guys' comments. So I truly appreciate you guys. I'm not responding to them one-on-one, but I see them. All right. Tony states, okay. I have to comment on this. For everyone that wants to play president of a grading company, now you are going to hear from an actual president of a grading company. Chris, I must say you are pretty spot on with your assumption or assessment of this topic. If anyone thinks this company is not raising prices just to make more profits, then you're wrong. I agree with Tony. I agree with Tony. The company is raising prices for profit. But guess what? They're not wrong to do so. They're not wrong to do so. So don't get that twisted and don't mistake that comment and my take on that comment. They're not wrong to do so. They can do whatever they want for profits. What's the company's number one reason for being in business? To maximize profits. Period. There's no other reason that they're in business unless you're a non-profit organization. None. Your number one goal is to maximize profits. But we live in a day and age where what do you need to do in order to maximize profits? Business culture, business model, quality of life for your employees, producing a service and a product that the customers demand. We no longer live in a world, unless you actually hold a monopoly, and CGC does not hold a monopoly. You're not PG&E or an electric company. You're not a utilities company, a water company. It's not a monopoly. It's not. This is capitalism on a free market. Technically a free market. We're not going to get into that. Longevity and success and profit margins depend solely on public perception. So, Tony is not wrong. They are raising prices specifically for profit. Let's continue on. He says this is nothing but a money grab, in my opinion. Now, that's kind of a, it's kind of a harsh statement, but, let's just go back to his first statement. It's for profit. He goes on to say, I could tell everyone this because EGS believes in transparency. So I could tell you that my prices have gone up for about every material it takes to be in business, which means my price of goods has gone up. My business is up 200% from last year. So because I'm making more in profit and my cost of goods has gone up, does that mean I should pass that on to the consumer? No way. He could, but he's saying that's not what I'm going to do. How is this supposed to work? If your profit doubles or triples, that means you can easily afford to better your company in whatever fashion you deem needs attention. Whether that is hiring more people or moving to a better location, doubling your advertisement, or buying new equipment. This does nothing but make your company better, which equates to hopefully higher profits, right? And it is thanks to your customers that you are able to do that. So this is how you repay them, by raising your prices. This just goes back to the good old greed at its finest. But when it is your company, you can choose to do whatever you want. I am not blaming anyone. It's capitalism. There you go. But there are ways to go about things, in my opinions, and I, representing EGS, would not go about it this way. I would rather drive a Lexus and know I am doing the best I can to please my customers than drive a Rolls Royce and not care and dictate to my customers. I will leave you all with one of my favorite quotes. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. I hope we, as a grading company, as a whole, treat people nice. We are not always going to be perfect, but if you are nice and take care of your customers, then they will take care of you in return. This is what I take before you jump down Tony's throat saying, oh, you're just competition. Tony is speaking from how he feels he wants to run his business in terms of culture. He's not saying CGC is wrong. He's saying this is what it looks like to me, and this is what I would do. Public perception matters. And yes, CGC has a lot more leeway to raise their prices than if EGS does, because EGS is a small dog slowly penetrating a business that is almost impenetrable. Public perception still matters, no matter who you are. And even the greatest companies can fail. Do I believe CGC is going to fail anytime soon? Absolutely not. Do I feel there's going to be even a dent in their success anytime soon? Absolutely not. Don't mistake my words. But what I need, and what we as consumers should demand CGC to do is to really look at themselves and evolve. Evolve to make sure that public perception is on par with the culture that they want to run their business on. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the quality of your product. It doesn't matter what the product is going to get you on the secondary market. If negative public perception continues to grow because you refuse to acknowledge your business model and your business culture, it's going to eventually hurt you in the long run. And that's all that I am saying about this. It's that simple. In conclusion, I know the matter isn't black and white, but in conclusion, it's pretty much that simple. So I hope that this discussion really allowed you all to see where I stand, to have a clear understanding. If you maybe watched that video of mine and weren't fully understanding what I was trying to say. But there it is. So we do got to start wrapping up. I want to take some comments before I head out. Yeah, tricky clicky. De facto standard and perceived higher value can change like Intel and AMD. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody? Look at Nintendo. Look at what Nintendo was on the market. Nintendo was unstoppable. Now it's a niche market. Microsoft and Sony have taken over. Your reign is not ingrained in stone. So, I mean, look at Apple when they booted Steve Jobs. And because they didn't understand the platform that they were working on, they almost went under, and it took Steve Jobs to come back and reinvent technology for the brand that is Apple. There's so many companies. There's so many companies that have rode the wave of greatness for so long that went under because they couldn't evolve. So I just want CGC to be conscious of that. I want them to continue to, like I said, look, if I have to be optimistic, I'm going to say this. CGC is going to take their new resources in their new capital, and they're going to turn things around. I am optimistic that they will. I am. I say that with a gut, with a pit in my stomach, though, because I'm kind of pushing myself to believe it, almost forcing myself to believe it. But it is what it is. Good question, Serge. Are they raising prices on custom labels? I do not know. I do not know. All right, guys. So I got to bring one more thing up. And I hope, Jeff, I hope you don't mind me taking a few more minutes because we got over to get ready for Comic Book Cannon. So no hate here. Batcave Comics on Instagram. I follow Batcave. So Batcave, if you do watch this, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but Batcave hit me up right before the stream and said, question. Well, let me not read it word for word because I don't want to put his words on blast, but he brought up the fact that I dissed CGC and now I'm going to be working with them. And I said, no, not really. Cause he was asking if that basically sums it up. And I said, no, absolutely not. I told him that he could join the live stream and ask me live and I would discuss this issue. And he politely refused to join. So I hope there's no animosity there. I hope he's not being cynical and sarcastic. I don't know. I hope he's just asking honest questions. Here's the thing. I'm going to be doing CGC signature series with my custom art as an artist. So I will be offering commission pieces that are CGC signature series. And he was questioning if now I'm teaming up with CGC and I diss them. First off, I never dissed CGC. I'm not in a rap battle. I'm not playing the dozens. I never dissed CGC. If I had an issue with CGC and I brought it up and talked about it, I brought it up and talked about it. Because I don't censor myself. If we don't hold the businesses accountable that we love when they do wrong, who are we to say anything about them? That would be like raising a child, and when they do something wrong, you don't teach them right, or you don't hold them accountable for their wrongdoing. Accountability. Structure. You teach your kids structure. Now, you want to build your child up when they do something great, and you want to praise them, and you want to applaud them. So, when there's a company that I feel is doing, I'll use Key Collector. I came and made multiple videos discussing my issues with certain things on Key Collector. People took it wrong, and thought that I was the big Key Collector hater. Then I came back and did a video saying how Key Collector did something good. And I made a video about that. I praised them for that. I discussed my issue with the thing they did wrong, and I praised them for the thing that they did good. I'll do the same thing with CGC. I'll do the same thing with CBCS. I consider Tony Trombetta a good friend, friend of the channel, president of EGS. And when I did my honest review of EGS's slabs, I brought up my pros and cons. And if I feel that there's something that they're doing wrong, I'll call it out. I am not over here dissing CGC. If I go into Starbucks and I pay $5 for a latte and they make my latte wrong, am I going to walk out saying, oh, I'm just going to drink what they gave me? No. I mean, you know, I know that's more petty, but look, I'm going to go back in and be like, look, guys, you made my latte wrong. I would like you to remake my latte right. And they probably would say, we are so sorry. We truly apologize. Yes, let us remake that for you. All good. And I'll be like, thank you so much. If I go in there and say, you made my latte wrong, and they're like, no, we didn't. We made it right. Well, can you make it again anyways? Nope. Then it's a bigger problem, and I'm going to hold them accountable. Doesn't mean I don't love Starbucks still. I don't drink coffee, by the way. You see what I'm saying? It's like if there's a company that I don't use, I'm going to talk about them less than if there's a company that I do use and I find an error with their business. I would rather talk about a business that I love and support and respect and constructively criticize issues that I have with them than talk about a company that's irrelevant to me that I don't freaking even care about. Do you hear me talking about PGX? No, I made one video out of all my videos that I made. I made one video about PGX because I felt it was important to educate the community. That's it. Well, you talk about CGC and you still send them your books. Why? Because I respect CGC as a company more than PGX. Even though I have a ton of issues with CGC. I will say it and I will keep saying it. CGC, you need to be transparent. CGC, there's no reason for you to put a book upside down in a goddamn freaking slab. But I respect you, CGC. You see what I'm saying? I had to make that clear. Yo, we got No Good Comics in the house who will be joining us in just 22 minutes over on the Canon, guys. Special guest host tonight on the Comic Book Canon. Justin, can't wait to hang out with you. Yo, okay, guys, I got to head out. I've overstayed my welcome. Jeff is going to probably kick my ass for being late for our Comic Book Canon show. But I really, guys, thank you all so much for being here today. I really enjoyed this discussion. I appreciated your guys' feedback. Thank you for challenging me. There was a few of you that brought us some challenging points, and I do appreciate it. I do. So thank you all. Again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Love seeing you guys hang out each and every week. And again, if you want to, you're supporting the channel by being here every day, every week. But consider $1.99 joining the channel for just $1.99. You do get extra perks that way. And you get even more perks by becoming a Patreon member for only $3.99 a month. I do have my official Journos Comics merch link below where you can get some awesome merch and support the channel. Oh, it's inside out. I got a shirt right here. I got to show off. If you ain't seen the merch, I love rocking the merch. This is a long sleeve tee right here. So check out the link. We got tees, hoodies, mugs, stickers. Anything to help support the channel is truly, truly appreciated. And you get to rock some hot gear. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for joining. I'm going to head out, and I hope to see all of you over on the Canon. Peace.